crazy. Is that something that, but obviously, you don't think of the product selling 30 million units worldwide, especially like you said, if you have a shelf life of maybe a year or so, maybe a couple of years if you're lucky,
Yeah.
to just kind of blow up the way it did. I do you think you're like very surprised at that, or were you like,
Oh,
oh,
yeah. Of course, I was surprised. I was extremely couldn't believe it. I know that. So that the first one when it came out, right, looks like this.
yep,
So you can see they're basically. You understand that it's the same product when you see them together, but this has two bops, right? This has the two bops. This has the yellow twist. This has the yellow,
yeah,
it has a pull. So they're very different, but they're obviously related. Well, that execution
yep. That's
was
what I was
lucky
thinking
that,
about.
right? There's a designer, is a friend, great, very talented. I was very lucky. This guy named Bob Welch, who was the internal designer at Parker Brothers when it came in. And he luckily was the exact, talk about the right guy, the right person to take this concept, had his own thoughts about what to do with it. And then, the team that's internal at a company makes all the difference. So that was never would have happened if it wasn't for someone internally that took my idea and made it the way that Hasbro could sell it. So then having it, Parker Brothers, which is part of Hasbro, so having the luck of it, after building all these relationships, getting it into the right company
Right.
that had the marketing power to make it sell and be able to do it. That's the part that you can have a great idea and just be with a small company and it just doesn't have the marketing power to do that.
Huh.
So most of the big toy companies have that ability, but it's, they have hundreds of new products and very few of them do what a Bopit does. So it's not that it's just the idea, it's just a lot of skill and
Yep.
hitting it just right. And so that's, did I imagine it? No, but I dreamed about it,
Yeah, for sure.
right? I dreamed like any inventor. I dreamed of one of my ideas is going to be, and part of that dream was going back to my childhood, playing with games and toys like Mousetrap or, things like that, or Connect Four, or some more like Perfection. I don't know if you know these games. I love mechanical games
Same here.
that were three-dimensional. And I remember seeing the box and seeing Parker Brothers or Milton Bradley on the box and having this really like a warm, sort of a happy feeling, like those games represented hanging out with friends and family and good just time, card games, all those kind of things.
Yeah.
So for me to have a game with that company, it's kind of like if you were a football player, like, and you made it to play with your idol,
Yep.
and you were on the same field with them. It felt like that. Like, how did I get so lucky
Yep.
that I found that I now have a game that has that company behind it that I grew up admiring and so I love that people were going to create memories with these games that I created like I did. And when they were older, this is 30 years ago, 25 years ago, I was thinking this will be so cool if I help create memories like I have. And that's what's happened. I'd say the most satisfying thing is on, here we are 25, 30 years later, and on TikTok and Instagram, all these things, there's just like hundreds of memes and spoofs and silly stuff about Bopit. It's like part of pop culture.
Right.
That to me is even more crazy than the fact that the product got made and it sold well.
Right. No, and that's I mean, I definitely agree with you when you have that thing that kind of stands the test of time and people are talking about it 20, 30 years later. That's when you have made something that just, I don't know, just going to go down in the record books.